It's the most magical time of the year. Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel, and this month we are celebrating Christmas special on my channel, and every week I will be showing you a Christmas inspired recipe that you can whip up for your family and loved ones this festive season and for the holidays. And we are starting with the most classic, the festive fruit cake. We will be soaking all the dried fruits in rum for a week, and then we'll be whipping up this gorgeous cake. I mean, just look how beautiful that is, and it's studded with all the amazing dried fruits and nuts, and it's topped with a whipped white chocolate ganache. Now this cake, we will be working on it a week ahead of time. You could make it 15 days or even a month ahead of time, because the first thing that we're going to do is soak our dried fruits in some alcohol. So here in a bowl now, I'm going to add my chopped dates. I have taken the seeds off. I am also going to add some chopped dried apricots and some candied cherries. I will also be adding some black raisins and golden raisins, and also candied orange peel that I have chopped very finely. Now just a quick note, all of the ingredients are down in the description box below. Now the alcohol that I have used is rum. You could use brandy, you could use whiskey, any dark colored alcohol. Now if you do not want to use alcohol and make this alcohol free, what you can do is just soak these dried fruits in orange juice just overnight, one day before. That would be perfectly fine as well. You could also just use rum extract when we make the cake. I'll explain that to you when we reach there, but like I mentioned here, I've just given it a quick mix. All the dried fruits have been mixed together. Now into that I'm going to add some rum, and also obviously, like I mentioned earlier, no need to add alcohol if you don't want to. I just wanted to keep this as close to the traditional fruit cake as I possibly could, to the best of my ability. And so I've soaked this, and I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap. Again, if you do not want to use alcohol, just soak it in orange juice overnight. Now I have soaked this for 7 days. You could soak it for 15 days or even a month if you wish, because that alcohol kind of really seeps into the dried fruits and matures over time as well. Now every day what I will do is I will take the cling wrap off. I will give it a good mix with my spoon every day, just so all the dried fruits are well mixed together, and then put the cling wrap back on and back into the refrigerator. So now let me show you what this looks like at the end of the 7 days. So on the 7th day, this is what my dried fruit mix looks like. All of that rum has been absorbed into the dried fruits, and they have gone nice and plump, and you can see how dry this thing looks right now, because all of that rum is inside the dried fruits. Again, this is not a necessity. If you want to make it without alcohol, do not soak it for 7 days in orange juice. Just overnight will be fine. But if you're using alcohol, a minimum of 7 days really adds a lot of flavor to your fruit cake. Now we'll go on and make our actual cake. So preheat your oven to 140 degrees Celsius. Here in a bowl, I have taken some all-purpose flour. I'm going to take my whisk and just mix it so everything is well mixed together. And then to that, I'm going to add some castor sugar. Now I have used castor because it's impossible to get my hands on dark muscovado sugar or dark brown sugar. But if you get access to dark brown sugar or dark muscovado sugar, then please go ahead and use that instead of the castor sugar. It'll add more depth, more flavor, and more richness. Here are my spices. So I have cinnamon powder, ginger powder, some clove powder, nutmeg, and some baking powder as well. I'm going to use my whisk and combine everything together. Now I'm going to add some butter, and I'm also going to add some oil. Again, all the quantities are down in the description box below, so don't forget to check it out. Using my whisk now, I am going to start doing the same thing that I do in almost every cake recipe that you have seen on my channel so far, which is called reverse creaming. That is, I am going to mix the fat from the butter and the oil into my dry ingredients, and you will see that it starts to resemble wet sand, and you want to keep mixing until all of the dry bits are well coated in the fats, which is from the butter and the oil. It's looking good now, so we are going to move on and add the next ingredient, which is our eggs. So I'm going to add 3 eggs in this recipe, and I'm going to add them one at a time. So I'm going to add the first egg, and then I'm going to use my whisk and combine it. Obviously it's going to be a little difficult to mix it because only the single egg will not provide the binding that we need. So we're going to add the second egg now, and now I'm going to whisk it again just until well combined and you don't see the yellow bits from the egg. And finally then I'm also going to add the third egg and then give it a good mix until this cake batter actually starts to look like a cake batter. So as you can see, it's combined really well at this point, and it's looking nice and smooth, and it's the perfect time now for us to add those dried fruits in here. As you can see, there's very little rum that is visible there. It has all been soaked up by the dried fruits, and also the rum has sort of thickened, if that's even possible, but it's almost like a syrup, which is so perfect. To this I'm also going to add some walnuts. Now you can also leave them whole, or if you don't want them to be whole, you can just break it apart with your fingers like so. You can also add any other nuts of your choice like cashews, almonds, pistachios if you wish, but I just wanted to keep it very simple with the walnuts. Now once I've done that, using my spatula, I'm just going to gently fold until all of the cake batter is well mixed and the dried fruits are evenly distributed throughout the cake batter. The batter looks absolutely stunning and it is ready to be baked. So I have an 8-inch cake tin. I have used a loose bottom tin so it's easier for me to take the cake out once it's baked. But you could use a normal 8-inch cake tin as well. I've also lined the sides with parchment paper and also greased the cake tin just so we don't have any sticky situations later. We don't want the cake to stick to the cake tin because this is a very delicious cake. So make sure that you grease the cake tin and line it with parchment paper as well. Then pour the cake batter into the cake tin. Also just smoothen out the top so the batter is well spread out, and you will now bake this in the oven at 140 degrees Celsius for 1 hour and 40 minutes approximately. It could be a couple minutes more or less. Just make sure that you insert a skewer or a knife right in the center of the cake and it should emerge clean. Then take it out of the oven and start poking it with a knife. Make as many holes inside the cake as you can. Be gentle, don't tear the cake apart, just be gentle, but make as many holes as you can. And now we are going to add 2 more tablespoons of rum just to help the cake drink up all of that amazing alcohol. Now, as I mentioned in that cake recipe while you were baking it, if you do not use alcohol, you could use rum extract if you wish. That's completely optional again. Now here also, instead of the alcohol, you could use some orange juice to soak the cake, and then you're going to let it rest first at room temperature, then refrigerate it for a day. This is the next day. It's cooled down to room temperature again, so you don't want a cold cake. Just let it come to room temperature on the next day, and then you are going to demold this cake. And I'm just going to take the parchment paper off, and you can see how amazing this cake looks. It smells like Christmas at this point. This cake is extremely flavorful and fragrant and really tasty. And now I'm just going to top it off with some whipped white chocolate ganache. How did I make this ganache? It's down in the description box below. Also drop a comment if you want me to create a video on how I made this this white chocolate ganache. I've explained it all in the description box, but if you need a video, then let me know. I'll be more than happy to do it. So I'm just going to spread it out. It almost looks like whipped cream, but it's not. Don't be mistaken. That is whipped white chocolate ganache, and it's absolutely perfect with this cake. You could use marzipan as well. I could not get my hands on it, and I also feel that the whipped white chocolate really adds a beautiful flavor and pairs well with the cake. And I'm going to top it off just for decorative purposes with some of these candied orange slices actually, and then just sprinkle some golden sprinkles on the side. And there you have it. This is my super festive classic fruit cake topped with whipped white chocolate ganache, and I cannot wait. So I'm obviously going to slice into it right away, and I want to show you how beautiful it looks like on the inside. It's dotted with all those beautiful dried fruits. We can see the cherries, the walnuts, the apricots, the raisins, the dates, all of it, and it's so beautiful. Now if you used muscovado sugar or dark brown sugar, the cake would be more brown in color, which is what you may be more familiar with, but since I didn't have that on hand, I've only used caster sugar. Let's bite right into it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. When you make this cake, then please post a photo to Instagram and tag me with my hashtag #thecupcakeconfession. If you enjoyed this video, and please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I post a new video. I'll see you again next time. Until then, goodbye and happy baking and happy holidays.